Deep within the heart of the Guyanese rainforest, where the dense foliage blotted out the sun's rays and the air hung heavy with humidity, a story whispered through the leaves and echoed through the minds of those who dared to enter. It was a tale of terror, a chilling legend that had been passed down from generation to generation, a warning to all who would venture into the untamed wilderness of Guyana. The jungle was a place of incomprehensible beauty, with its towering trees and a cacophony of exotic creatures that roamed beneath the green canopy. But it was also a place of mystery, a place where ancient secrets lay hidden, waiting to be uncovered by the brave and the foolish alike. One such secret was the legend of the Jaguar's curse. It was said that deep within the heart of the Guyanese jungle, there was a hidden temple, a place where the spirit of an ancient shaman had been bound for all eternity. The shaman had possessed great power, and his curse was said to be the most potent of all. It was believed that anyone who entered the temple would be forever haunted by the shaman's vengeful spirit, condemned to wander the jungle, tormented by the voices of the dead. It was a moonless night when a group of adventurers, drawn by the allure of the jungle's mysteries, set out on a perilous journey to find the hidden temple. Among them was Sarah, a fearless explorer with a passion for uncovering the unknown. She had heard the legend of the Jaguar's curse, and it had become an obsession, an itch she couldn't scratch. The group of adventurers hacked their way through the thick underbrush, their machetes slicing through the tangled vines and foliage. The jungle seemed to close in around them, its eerie silence broken only by the sounds of their labored breathing. The air was thick with the scent of rotting vegetation, and the darkness seemed to press in on them from all sides. As they ventured deeper into the jungle, strange things began to happen. The compasses they carried began to spin wildly, unable to find true north. Their GPS devices malfunctioned, and their maps became useless. It was as if the jungle itself was conspiring to keep them lost, to trap them in its web of endless green. Sarah was undeterred. She was driven by an obsession that bordered on madness, and nothing could dissuade her from her quest. But as they pressed on, a sense of unease settled over the group. Shadows moved in the periphery of their vision, and eerie whispers filled the air. The jungle was alive, and it was watching them. After days of relentless trekking, the adventurers stumbled upon a clearing, and there, nestled among the towering trees, was the hidden temple. It was an ancient structure, overgrown with vines and moss, its stone walls weathered by centuries of rain and sun. It was a place of immense power, and as they approached, the very air seemed to hum with energy. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she stepped into the temple's dim interior. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings, depicting scenes of sacrifice and ritual. At the center of the chamber stood an altar, and upon it lay the remains of the shaman, his mummified form preserved for all eternity. Ignoring the warnings of her companions, Sarah approached the altar and reached out to touch the shaman's remains. As her fingers brushed against the ancient corpse, a voice echoed in her mind, a voice that was not her own. "Who dares disturb my rest?" the voice hissed. Sarah stumbled back, her heart racing. She realized too late that she had awoken the spirit of the shaman, and now it was bound to her, forever linked to her soul. Panic surged through her as the other adventurers hurried to her side, their faces etched with fear. The jungle around them seemed to come alive, the trees and vines twisting and contorting in unnatural ways. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and the air was filled with the eerie cries of unseen creatures. The adventurers were trapped, and there was no escape. Over the days that followed, the group's sanity began to unravel. They heard the voices of the dead whispering in their ears, urging them to madness. Shadows moved in the darkness, and strange apparitions appeared before their eyes. The jungle itself seemed to conspire against them, leading them deeper into its heart, further away from civilization. Sarah, in particular, bore the brunt of the shaman's curse. She was plagued by nightmares, visions of unspeakable horror that left her trembling and sleep-deprived. The other adventurers could see the toll it was taking on her, but they were powerless to help. As they wandered deeper into the jungle, the group's supplies dwindled, and desperation set in. They hunted for food, but the jungle seemed to thwart their efforts at every turn. Game was scarce, and the fruits they found were bitter and inedible. It was as if the very land itself was conspiring to keep them alive, to prolong their suffering. One by one, the adventurers began to succumb to madness. They turned on each other, their once strong bonds of friendship devolving into paranoia and mistrust. It was a nightmare come to life, a descent into madness that seemed never-ending. And always, in the back of their minds, was the relentless voice of the shaman, a constant reminder of their cursed fate. It whispered to them, taunted them, promising release from their suffering if only they would give in to its dark desires. In the end, Sarah was the last one standing. The jungle had claimed the others, driving them to madness or death. She was a shell of her former self, haunted by the voices of the dead and tormented by visions of unspeakable horror. As she stumbled through the jungle, her strength waning, she finally reached the breaking point. She could take no more. With a cry of despair, she fell to her knees and begged for release from the shaman's curse. She offered herself up as a sacrifice, willing to do anything to end her torment. And in that moment, as the jungle closed in around her, Sarah felt a presence beside her. It was the shaman's spirit, and it whispered one final, chilling promise. "Your suffering is over," it hissed. "But your soul is mine." And with that, the jungle swallowed Sarah whole, her cries of agony echoing through the trees as the shaman's curse claimed its final victim. The legends of the Jaguar's curse lived on, a warning to all who would dare to enter the untamed wilderness of Guyana, a reminder that some mysteries are best left undiscovered, and some curses are best left unbroken.